All right, great. Well, I'm John Ehrlich. I am an MBA student here at NYU Stern, and it's my pleasure to be here with Tim Milam, partner and managing director of FX Fowl Architects. Thank you, Tim, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, if you could just tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got to the position that you're in today and about your company.
Okay. So my background is architecture and urban design. I came to New York about 20 years ago to go to grad school at City College to study urban design, urban planning, and I ended up staying here. I worked in traditional architecture firms, but I was also on the client side for a while. I worked at City University in the Department of Design Construction. I've been with my current firm, about 15 years. We're about 150 people. We do a wide range of projects and sector types, everything from commercial high-rise, residential, cultural, educational projects. We do planning, urban design, and interiors. I In addition to my project roles, I'm also managing director, which is similar to a COO position in my company. So I'm responsible for strategic planning and also the day-to-day management of the firm. So
Great. I know that you've done a lot of work for universities, and you mentioned institutions of education and higher education
yes.
in New York City. And I was wondering what inspires you about these projects and why you choose to take them on and the challenges that they present to you as an architect and a project manager.
I think one of the reasons I really enjoy those types of projects is just what you end up with as far as the impact. And I remember when I was at City University working there, and they have multiple college campuses, and just being able to get a project designed, constructed, and then see how the students and administration use the project. So I think for our firm, a big part of what we do is, we care about our community, and we're socially responsible, and we think, education, cultural projects are such important projects to New York and wherever we work.
A lot of these projects, like the ones for universities, but also ones that you do, such as convention centers. I know that there's a convention center component of the Columbia project that you're building right now, and you recently finished the project for the Javits Center. A lot of these include large spaces, sometimes communal spaces, and spaces that are used by a lot of people, as opposed to a more standard commercial office or retail space. And I was wondering what your philosophy is when it comes to designing some of these large spaces that might have a lot more considerations in terms of flow and interaction on a day-to-day basis.
I think obviously for a convention center, that's what a convention center is for. And Javits is a great example. We did a renovation of the convention center. Now we just designed an expansion for that. I think other projects like the Columbia Business School in Manhattanville, it's a business school primarily, right? So we as designers, we always have to meet that primary goal. But there's also a component of it of outreach to the community, collaborative spaces. So it can be a challenge, though, for architects, right, to design something that can be used in many, many ways. And I'm currently on a project that I'm working on, and we're finding it like how flexible can you be? How open can you be when you're designing something for multiple uses? And a lot of times the uses, even the end users, they're not sure exactly how it will be used. They can tell you how it's being used currently if they have a facility or how they might envision it. But a lot of things change. And I think especially with university cultural projects, right, from the beginning of concept to the end of construction, there might be a lot of changes. So I think, the whole flexible component, being able to design something that 10 years down the road, could be used for something else.
And how does that play into your thought process when it comes to designing public space in these projects?
I think public space at Manhattanville, that's a good example of our two buildings for the business school separated by a large public square. And that square is meant to be used by the community. So I think public space, indoor, outdoor, it's really about how you engage the users, right? And from a design perspective, you want to make sure that your buildings are open and inviting, and that people feel like, oh, well, they can go into that space. Because like a business school traditionally, right, community, maybe, they don't use that space. They don't go into the Morningside campus and go into the business school. But in the new project, right, there might be community meetings. There's an incubator space for small businesses. One of the ideas that the business school had was maybe pairing up business school students with local people who want to start a business. So I think those things are really important when you're trying to engage the community.
What's the role that sustainability plays in your designs? A lot of these institutional players seek to achieve a very prestigious label of sustainability, while sometimes if you're working with a private developer client, they may be looking for that label but not necessarily aspiring all the way to a LEED Platinum or maybe even gold status. So what's the role that takes into consideration when you're designing?
Well, our firm FX Fowl, we've always been committed to sustainability. When we did 4 Times Square, the Condé Nast building, it was the first green office building. What I have found over the years is that now sustainability is something that everybody is aware of and everybody wants to do. Years ago, it wasn't that way, and trying to convince clients to get a LEED certified building, LEED Silver building was difficult. I think on the sort of residential commercial side, there was a turning point where developers found that having a LEED Gold building, a residential building, that might be something that attracted people who would actually buy or rent that space, right? Because it was sustainable. So I find more and more clients talk about it. I do think sometimes from a budget standpoint, because there may be more of a capital investment in sustainable ideas in a building. I think definitely looking at the operating cost and the payback, those are things that really can bring a lot of value to a client. But my feeling is sustainability, it's only going to be more and more integrated into projects. We usually, as a firm, right, we want to do the highest level of sustainability. It's not necessarily about LEED Platinum or LEED Gold. It's like doing what is socially responsible. And I think a lot of it is educating clients on how to achieve that. And I think there are lots of things that we do are just organic and integrated into design that don't necessarily cost money, but definitely I think sustainability, I've noticed the difference over the years, and I think it's only going to be increasing.
We've been talking a lot today at the NYU Real Estate Symposium about where we are in the real estate cycle here in New York City. What do you think about the future of building here in New York City, particularly given the projects that you've been working on recently and are seeing in the pipeline? And what does that mean for you as a business owner in an architectural firm here in New York?
It's a difficult question to answer. Predicting what's going to happen. I think in our profession, architecture design, there is cycle to it, and it's ups and downs. And as a firm, what we've tried to do is really diversify and do a lot of different project types. And what we found is, those sort of long-term projects like schools or cultural projects, their funding is different, and you usually have to have it far in advance. So that sometimes if there's a downturn, let's say in the commercial or residential sector, those other projects are still going strong. So I think as a business, right, we have to look at that sort of overall balance. Also, we do a lot of work outside the U.S., so that's another reason to diversify, right? Although the downturn, which started in 2008, was a global downturn, right? So there's really no way to sort of manage that risk. As far as where we are now, we're really busy as a firm, and all the other architecture firms I talk to are busy. I know contractors, CMs, people are having to turn away work, but we know historically that could change. But I don't see anything in the near future changing, just based on the requests for proposals we get, clients calling us. It seems like it's still in a kind of a busy mode.
Great. Well, thanks for being with us here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.